The shootings of 8 people, 6 of Asian descent last week in the Atlanta area might have been more than 1,000 miles away, but the crime reverberated here in the northwest suburbs. The incident struck a chord with many of our neighbors, some of whom told us they are fearful of anti-Asian hate. A statistic from the Minnesota Department of Human Rights shows that since last April, approximately 7% of the department's COVID-19 related calls are reports of alleged anti-Asian Pacific Islander bias and discrimination. Reporter Sonia Goins shows us what a Brooklyn Park woman is doing to speak out.
I'm not going to be silent.
19-year-old Monica Yang is on a mission to stop violence against Asians.
People do hate on Asian people right now because of the virus.
For the past week, she has stood at major intersections in Brooklyn Park and St. Paul, spreading awareness.
Ever since the pandemic, it has been rising, just mostly dirty looks. When I go to a grocery store, people will stay away.
Yang, who is Hmong American, said she felt compelled to act after the shootings in Atlanta last week, where a gunman fatally shot 8 people, including 6 Asian women.
Hurts me that someone would choose to go to places to kill them, shoot them. That's not okay.
Yang herself has faced violence while campaigning for peace.
I had this one lady who tried to spit at me.
But there are some people who are standing in solidarity.
We're all human. Nobody deserves that,
Brooklyn Park officials say they haven't received any reports of anti-Asian hate or bias. But Yang says since the pandemic started, she hasn't felt safe.
I got my pepper spray.
And she's worried about her family.
I really do fear for my mom and my dad, that they go to work and they go out in public. Woo.
The group Stop AAPI Hate reported 42 incidents of anti-Asian bias in Minnesota over the past year. For Yang, the statistic is a dark reminder of what people who look like her face each day.
People are scared. They don't want to come out here because they might get attacked.
She will continue to stand up for change until the violence stops.
If one person can make a change, then why not me,
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Food shelves are entering their last few weeks in the push for Food Share Month, which is a grassroots fundraiser and food drive. This year's Food Share Month is particularly important because food shelves in our area have seen increased need.
We know with the pandemic facing our community, it has disproportionately impacted low-income workers and people of color. Here in Minnesota, we know hunger used to be 1 in 11 households. Now we're up to 1 in 9.
Interfaith Outreach in Plymouth has seen more than 800 additional families this year because of the pandemic. Nonprofits are asking for financial donations as well as food to restock their food shelves. Each food shelf has special instructions for how to drop off donations, and they are also asking people to consider rethinking what they donate to food shelves.
Things I always stress is beyond just, your shelf-stable foods. We're asking folks for hygiene items, diapers, baby wipes, baby food.
When you think about donating to a food shelf, you think of canned peas, peanut butter, your staples, your non-perishables that aren't going to go bad. And one of the things we really try to do here at Prism is make it a holistic shopping experience. So it's like going to any other grocery store.
There are actually a few more weeks to go in Food Share Month. The annual fundraising campaign continues until April 12th. Ebenezer Community Church in Brooklyn Park held a large food distribution on Saturday.
So Saturday, it was a massive outreach here. We had people from the community, all of our neighbors. We extended invitation to churches, people in the community who needed some food. Of course, our church members as well. And we were able to give all 1,000 boxes of food out.
Pastor Francis Tabla says the church once again partnered with a group out of Tulsa to accept and distribute the food to anyone in need. Last year they distributed the food in time for Mother's Day. This year it was in time for Easter. Could vinyl records be having a revival? If you don't have your own collection at home, Neil Persley introduces you to one at the Hennepin County Library.
So Vinyl Revival is a series here at Hennepin County Library, artist residencies, listening opportunities, programs, events, all centered around our vinyl collection here at Hennepin County.
And in charge of those programs is librarian Russ Johnson. If you're a music fan, especially of music that was pressed on vinyl, these are programs you may be interested in.
Back in 2019 is when it began.
Ah, those fond days of yesteryear.
When libraries were open, it was a way to access our just vast collection of vinyl records, which had been sitting somewhat untouched for years.
They even created a vinyl listening room, which has since become Johnson's office. Over the last year, the programs have taken on a more digital presence. One of the interesting online offerings each month is called Album Encounters.
And it's one way that we kept vinyl appreciation going.
Think of it as sort of an online book club for music lovers.
We took a deep dive look at the album Trio, which was by Dolly Parton and Emmylou Harris and Linda Ronstadt.
Participants can discuss everything from song content to where the artists were in their careers at the time.
And it's just a way where people can learn about the music, maybe learn about an artist they weren't familiar with. So we have an album encounter every month, usually the third Thursday of every month.
The Vinyl Revival team is made up of 11 people who share a love for music and the vinyl it came on. Hopefully the listening room will open again one day and the vinyl collection will be somewhat accessible to the public. With warmer weather, Johnson hopes to take some Vinyl Revival pop-up DJ parties out on the road.
We pop up with our whole DJ setup, bunch of vinyl albums in tow.
Keep watch on the Hennepin County Library website. They could pop up at a library near you. From Central Library in Minneapolis, Neil Persley, CCX News.
The Providence Academy girls basketball team is aiming to get back to the state tournament after the 2020 tourney was cut short by the pandemic. Jace Malillo profiles the Lions sister duo Maria and Grace Counts in this week's CCX Sports Spotlight.
Grace and Maria Counts are the engine that drives the Providence Academy girls basketball team.
I've told them in the locker room multiple times after the pregame, it's just we have a lot of cool parts of the car. We got some young kids that can really get it going, but without you two, the car doesn't move.
Those young kids include 7th grader Madden Greenway and her 20 points per game, and freshman Brooke Honecker, who's averaging 12 a game. Junior Maria Counts and her sister Grace, a sophomore, are also skilled scorers, but this season, their roles have expanded.
I think we've definitely started to pick up our roles, like on defense, rebounding, even like steals and assists and stuff. It's kind of fun because like it's more, now we have kind of more complete games.
It's forced us more to be like team players than like individual players trying to carry the team. That's why our assists are our record number for our school. We've got crazy rebounding. We've kept teams below like 30, really because we've had to step up on all the other fronts because it's not a big 40-point, one-player kind of game.
Becoming better all-around players is partly a result of the sisters being tough on each other. There's no filter between them. It's brutal truth all the way.
A few tears have been shed on the blunt side of things, but I think I would not trade it for anything.
Because in the long run, Maria and Grace know it's beneficial.
Everyone kind of sugarcoats it, we're not trying to like hurt anyone's feelings, but we'll tell each other straight up.
You need someone to push you or else you're gonna stay where you are. Like, you can push yourself, but having that outside force it's incredible. It's great to have.
Maria and Grace come from a sporting family. All their siblings play or played basketball. Their parents were both college athletes. And their grandfather is Mel Counts, a 7-footer who played 12 seasons in the NBA. Mel won titles in 1965 and 66 with the Boston Celtics, where he backed up Bill Russell. He went on to play for 5 more teams, including 2 stints with the Lakers, where he backed up Wilt Chamberlain. Mel is 79 now and lives in his home state of Oregon. But even from afar, he tries to stay involved with Maria and Grace's basketball development.
Every time he gives me a call, it's, "Are you lifting? Are you lifting? I'm coming down there this summer and we're lifting this summer." He loves to be an active part of our basketball career because it was so important to him, and he loves how it's important to us too. So
they tell me all the time whenever he comes to visit, he's always giving him pointers and tips and like, hey, you should be being stronger in the post, or use your left shoulder turn, use your right. So it's really cool that they get a professional, played with some of the best players of all time, and then you tell them how to work in the post, because man, how cool is that opportunity? Not many people get to be coached by someone like that.
Providence hummed through its regular season, finishing with a 17-1 record and ranked 5th in Class 2A. In 2020, when COVID-19 shut down the season, the Lions were on the brink of getting to the state final. So as they start their 2021 playoff run, there's a feeling of unfinished business.
Last year was really hard. I mean, our school hasn't been there since like 2012, and we finally got there, and then it just right out from underneath you.
Coming back this year, we have that much more fire to get back there and to really knock it all the way home to the state championship.
That was Jason Melillo reporting. Melcount's alma mater, Oregon State, upset Oklahoma State in the NCAA tournament on Sunday night, and the Beavers are through to the Sweet 16. Maria and Grace Counts in Providence plays Holy Family in the Section 5AA semifinals on Tuesday night. Watch for coverage of Section boys and girls basketball and Section boys hockey all this week here on CCX. That's all for sports. I'm John Jacobson. Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.